Welcome to the Wealth and Wellness All Women Rock podcast, hosted by me, Tamara, the CEO and founder of All Women Rock Global. Join me on this journey as we explore topics, conversations, and interviews related to wealth and wellness. Let's get started. Hey girl, hey. Welcome to episode 4 of the Wealth and Wellness All Women Rock podcast. On today, we are disguising surprise. Yep, you heard it right. Disguise the surprise. Have you ever purchased a gift for someone and wanted to change up the box you gave it in because they would automatically know what the gift was based on the box size? For instance, a nice piece of jewelry, a cell phone, or even clothes. Everyone automatically knows what type of gift you have for them based on the box size and shape. Well, on today's episode, I had the great pleasure of meeting a very talented and brilliant woman that wanted to change that. Duffy is the CEO and founder of Disguise a Surprise. Disguise a Surprise is a unique gift box you can purchase with a set of dividers that is tailored to the size of the gift. So basically, you disguise one gift or fill the other sections with multiple items, making it a super fun gift box. The set holds in place stopping movement and also creates multiple compartments to place additional items. You guys, this is great for baby showers, gift cards, graduation, roll-up money. The possibilities are endless. When you add in the element of surprise, the reactions are priceless. Duffy is a mom of 2 boys, and every holiday season, if they were getting a new cell phone or video game, she felt she was spending way too much time trying to disguise the item. Those of us that have children or family, we can definitely relate. And what do entrepreneurs do? We create solutions. This is how Disguise a Surprise was born. Duffy stated, I created the product based on my kids' needs, but through this journey, I realized this concept can be used by anyone and for anyone. You can make a unique and personalized box for baby showers, graduation, Valentine's Day, birthdays, gender reveals, you name it. Her mission is to help other people create these experiences in their own lives and become rock star gift givers. Don't just give a gift, make it an experience. Duffy and I had an amazing girl chat. We talked about Clubhouse, how the loops and hurdles she endured getting her product business started, and tips to help you in your product or service-based business. So before I allow you guys to take a listen, you can head over to our All Women Rock Global YouTube page and watch the video, and you'll be able to see Disguise a Surprise, how it looks, and see how it works. Let's take a listen. Hi, Duffy. Welcome to the Wealth and Wellness podcast. I'm so happy to have you here with us on today. I'm so excited to learn so much about the Disguise a Surprise. How are you doing on today?
I'm fine. Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. I'm excited.
I'm so happy to have you here. I feel like so many people are wondering what is the Disguise a Surprise. So because I've already sent like an email blast out to our newsletter followers to let them know about this upcoming podcast episode. So let's get right to it and you tell us what Disguise a Surprise is.
Sure, absolutely. It is a new product. So even though I went in December to go sell in front of people, they're like, what are you? And I was like, well, let me tell you. So basically for me, I'm a mom of 2 boys, right? They're 12 and 15. And I developed a product out of my mom frustration. Every year at Christmas time for me, if I was giving them a gift, say like a cell phone or a video game that has a very distinguishable box, I used to get so frustrated because I was spending way too much time trying to create a clever way to disguise it. Because I guess I'm just one of those moms that it's not okay just to go, oh, here's a box. And they go, right. Oh, I know what that is. That's a cell phone. That's just boring and not okay to me. So I kind of took it into my own hands. My mom and I, when I was growing up, used to always have ideas for products, but never did anything about it. So I kind of finally said, all right, I know I want to go back to work, but I also want to be home for the kids. What can I do? So I said, all right, I'm going to try this product. So it was my first go around. So you have to start somewhere, right? You try to find labs and do things. So basically it came down to, and what the product is, Disguise a Surprise is a set of 12 dividers. And there's 4 different lengths in the set. And basically you take these dividers and they all have a purpose, of which I'll say, but you use them. Some people's objectives will be just to disguise one special item, a cell phone, right? Like this one. If you give somebody a ring, a jewelry box in this box, they know what it is, right? So if you want to make it more fun, it's a lot more fun. If you hand somebody a shirt box, they think they're getting clothes, right? So when they open it and all of a sudden they see this new cell phone, they're like, whoa, and that is the kind of reaction that we're going for. So you arrange the dividers around your one special item to disguise, or in going through this whole product, I realized, not everybody has kids or different things that they want to do. But another great option is you can use these dividers to create your own custom multi-item gift box. For example, this one over here, literally any occasion, baby showers, for me, with a 15-year-old, a lot of times the moms, we would go in and we would buy like a birthday party, right? You constantly going to birthday parties for kids or different things. You get an Amazon gift card. I used to stick it in an envelope and go, there you go, right? Well, change it up. And that's what I did this year. And I am telling you, the reactions of these kids are so much more fun. Would you rather get an envelope, or as a kid, like this is an Amazon gift box, okay? I rolled up dollar bills. I put their favorite candy. You put, what are they called? Tic Tacs that you can shake and make different noises. And I am telling you, I don't care how old you are, you would much rather get a box like this than an envelope. So it kind of just ups your gift giving game. And they're reusable. You can literally use them for any occasion throughout the year. And I currently make them in 5 colors. There's blue, green, red, white, and clear. Some people like the subtle look, like they want it to focus on the item. So, get a clear. But then some people want a pop, Valentine's Day, something. So, or college, like graduation, if they're going to go to, a school whose colors are red, you might want to buy the red ones and tie it into all those things. So it's kind of multi-purpose. You use the dividers to disguise the one item or create a whole gift box. And there's no right or wrong way to assemble it, because everybody's gift is going to be different. It's all laid out in different reasons. So that's, in a nutshell, what Disguise the Surprise is. And then I created things, for me, there's different needs in gift wrapping, even in the short boxes that I was going through. Some items, for example, this Amazon gift card is shallow, right? It's thin. If you put this in, a shirt box is approximately 2 inches tall, you might get some movement up and down if it doesn't fit. So what I did was create, and the jewelry box could be thin as well, right? I created this piece called a riser. And what you do is you put this underneath the thin items and it raises it up so there's no movement. That's what I did in this box. Now that I removed it, you can see I put 3 risers under there, and it also lifted up like the gum and the Kit Kats and things.
Wow.
So that's one design element that I did. And then, I want to make it easy for people. Like, I say you can buy the set. It comes with a storage box, right? Because we women primarily, or whomever you are, we want to store all of our gift wrapping supplies in a tub, in a closet, and they're all color coded, right? So you keep them in here. If you're giving as a gift, I look at it as an add-on. Like, say, for example, a baby shower. I did this baby shower gift box, right? You can
I love that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's, again, everybody can get creative, but I'm not going to go, oh, give me those things back, right? That would be, somebody could do that. I'm going to look at it as an add-on and say, oh, by the way, Duffy, here's part of your gift is this thing now called Disguise the Surprise. You can reuse them for your future gift. But you can just kind of go in there. But the other thing is, so I give the people option, again, just trying to make it easy for everybody. We all don't have enough time. Make me an easy solution and let it work, right?
Right.
So, for me, I give people the option. You can buy the set with a shirt box that is a guaranteed fit. Or if you have a bunch of shirt boxes at home, maybe you want to buy it without it, but it doesn't fit every shirt box. But I did do research and found out, like, okay, where would people go, right, to buy shirt boxes? You might go to Target, Dollar Tree, Walmart. So most of them, not all of them, are a little bit shorter. So in manufacturing, there's this thing called a living hinge on the ends where you can fold it in. I'm trying to get to where you can see it in the camera. You fold it in, and now it'll fit in a shorter box. So I kind of added that design element to the piece as well. And then the one final design, and I say these things because I found not a lot of people read, and they're like, well, I could go just buy drawer dividers and use these. I'm like, well, it's it's designed, these pieces have purpose for them. And they're purposely designed for like these short boxes and gifts in mind. This is, you get one buffer piece, I call it, in there. You can use, if you keep it whole, you could stick it in as just a shorter divider, like if you had something wider at top and wanted more small sections on the bottom. Or if you have somebody, a kid, just somebody in your family that shakes their boxes before they open it, like, ooh, I want to know what it is. You can cut, it's hard to see here, but there's some score lines that can create 8 individual pieces. If you cut that, you get what I call a buffer piece. And it has a skinnier little side and a little bit wider side. So say, for example, there's a little bit of space around this cell phone and you don't want any movement. You take these buffer pieces and place it around the item that you don't want to move, and it holds it in place.
Wow.
So it's really cool, which helps for shipping too. Some people, if they want to ship an item, right?
Right.
So it's not just a piece of, plastic dividers. They really were designed to help you with your gift giving needs, to make it easier for you and have solutions. So
right. Because we're always looking for something that's more easier, but also gives our children, family or friends, the wow factor. Like, oh my God, I wasn't expecting that. So I absolutely love that idea.
Thank you. You know what was neat after, so I just launched in October. So I'm, this is a new business, it's a new product. So still really trying to get the word out there. But what I found for around the holidays is I did get really good feedback from people who used it in different things. And they told me that several people said that the pieces themselves, after the person opened the gift, turned into a conversational piece. They're like, what is this? And how did you do it? Because it's so new. They were like, what? So it kind of makes it full circle and taps it in, and you can start a family conversation even afterwards.
Right. That's amazing. I absolutely love this. So for the dividers, do they come in different colors, or can you like reorder different colors?
Yeah, so the 5 colors that I sell online are blue, green, red, clear, and white. So these are the choices that I have. Now, if somebody wanted to down the road buy in bulk and wanted a custom color, my manufacturer can do, I think it was either 90 or 200 colors. He has a ton of colors that he can do, but as a business owner, I don't want to manufacture a bunch. But if somebody came in and, I've had some people say, oh, this would be really great for my clients or different things. Somebody could contact me, and absolutely, I can do wholesale and get custom colors made. You might, if it's a smaller amount, they're just going to be a little bit, cost a little bit more to make. We can put logos on them. One of the things that I'm kind of starting and having conversations about is, a lot of things are virtual, as we were discussing earlier today. So birthday parties, bar and bat mitzvahs are a big thing, and a lot of people can't do it. So I'm talking to people about, you can create your whole swag box using these. You can put a little, a nice sticker on there and say, thank you for coming to Tyler's bar mitzvah, and you can personalize it. And then they keep these and use them they can store, the kid could either use it to store whatever they want. If it's a girl, they might store their little hair bows in there. Boy might store his, football cards or his Lego pieces. So it's kind of a fun thing. So there's really so many things that can be done with these, and literally any occasion. So, and they're made in the USA. I'm so happy to say that it's all made here. I know some people, yes, I could have it, made for less money if I went to China and do some things, but I don't want to do that. If I can stick and do this and say it's all here, I have my manufacturer right here in St. Louis. So that makes me happy to be able to say that.
That's amazing. I love that. That's absolutely amazing. There's so many different things you can use those for, like anniversaries. As you were talking, I was thinking about like anniversary gifts and just kind of giving those sweet reminders to the special person in your life, and you can just use those dividers for that. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, one thing too, and it's funny, the more I'm talking to other people and different things, they're like, oh, a guy asking a girl to marry him. If you hand this box or just even, a guy, somebody giving a person jewelry as a gift, people know these boxes, right? So if you want it to be more fun, and that's really about what this is, we can all do let me shove this in a gift bag and here you go. Lots of people do that. Gift bags have their purposes, don't get me wrong. But if you want to up your game and just do something, more cool and get this reaction of like, what? Like this is, especially kids, right? Kids think they know
Right.
it all. They think they know it all. And they're expecting X gift because, they asked for it and they think they might get it. So, when they see that shirt box, they're like, crap, I'm not getting my football card pack that I wanted or something,
Right.
right? So it's just so much more fun. It's just a way to just kind of bring the joy back into it and make it an experience. And,
Right.
I kind of say they might not only remember the gift that they got, but actually how they got that gift,
Exactly.
So I think that's kind of cool.
Exactly. It'll always be a memory because there'll be, and sometimes even if you're given like a gift that's like for a memory for someone, they can be like, oh, I remember this, and they're just kind of thinking about, I remember when you gave me the gift and it had this and it had that in it. People remember those things, like you said, an experience. So how
Yeah.
was the process of getting all of this developed? How was that for you?
Well, I think like anything, it took a while, certainly. I went to some of my local labs here, and I probably every medium-sized city to larger city would have one of these, but they have these things, either Fab Lab it's called, or you can go in and it's kind of a maker space for creative people. And so you can go in there and you can either take courses on your own, or you can hire them to say, I already know how to do in CNC manufacturing or different things. And well, you know what, amount of time it would take me to learn that and do that. I just personally chose to just say, hey, can I pay you and have you test this, et cetera? Because you have to figure out what materials you're going to use, what sort of manufacturing are you going to use. And then even when you do figure that out, like I had to pivot. I was trying, so there's something called injection molded, which is what these are. And I actually steered away from that at first because I was told that it costs more upfront, right? So because you have to actually get a mold made, and then the mold is what pumps out each piece
Mm-hmm.
every single time. So I was trying all these other ways at first, but we were having problems with them and it was just taking so long. So as a business owner, for me, I kind of said, okay, what can I do? Everybody told me that would cost too much, but I never really made those phone calls in the beginning to find out what that means and
Mm-hmm.
have on paper for a comparison of what it would cost. So that is when I started contacting, I had a conversation with a design firm here. And I said, is there anybody here in St. Louis, that you would recommend to talk to have a injection mold manufacturing conversation? So they routed me to, turns out the guy that I'm using, his name is, Dave Skaggs at MDS Manufacturing here. And you just sit and you just have conversations. And you say, this is what I'm trying to do. And
Mm-hmm.
do you think this product would work? And do you have any suggestions? Because they're the ones that are used to their tools and what they
Right.
have. And, like, he's the one who told me about, like, oh, there's something called a living hinge. Sure, I've seen it on products, but I didn't know it was called a living hinge,
Mm-hmm.
but I was like, oh, okay. So it kind of opens up the doors. But that's how I was able to switch. Originally, I was told that my big mold needed to be made in China because of costs. As a person starting out, you only have so much, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, God. And when I got that quote back, it came in significantly higher. I was like, hold on, put on the brakes. Again, another lesson learned as a new business owner. People had told me that I couldn't use US based ones, that I had to go to China because of cost. But now all of a sudden, it was hit with me with like a stop sign. I was like, let me make those phone calls and
Right.
see myself. So I researched and found out there's something called the American Mold Builders Association. Who knew? I didn't know that. But I called them and they have a whole list of people all over the country that do this. So I got on the phone and probably called about 15 different companies and said, this is what my needs are. This is what's happening. What can you do for me? I ended up finding a phenomenal guy outside Chicago right there whose quote came in less than the China quote. And he's so great. The lead time, everything is just, I was thrilled. I was thrilled. So
Wow.
I think it's a lesson learned of,
Mm-hmm.
we always say, well, that's what the expert, he's the expert. He,
Mm-hmm.
she, doesn't matter who you are, is the expert. But then there are some times where I've realized that, no, you know what? You got to do your own homework,
Mm-hmm.
and then maybe case they might have been right, but it's
Right.
kind of better to find it on your own. So it was a longer process for
Mm-hmm.
sure
Mm-hmm.
in going through it, but
Yeah.
I'm happy with the way it came out. Everybody always
Right.
tells you can't have perfection, right? If you want to get something out, they call it your MVP, your minimum viable product. and get it to that point. Now, there were sometimes, I will say that some people said to me, oh, you're ready. You have enough for that. And I was like, no, because I wouldn't have felt comfortable putting that product to a customer yet. I was like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. So that kind of just, it's your gut feeling about who you are and what you want. So now I'm comfortable with moving forward and putting it out. Now down the road, there might be iterations or different things, but that will come down the road once the business gets traction and moves forward into different things, but for now you start with what you have.
Right.
And you grow that and then see.
Right. There are so many lessons in everything that you said, because so many times you talk to different people and they'll say, well, this person said I should do it this way. And it's like, you have to do your own research and you have to do what works best for you. What worked best for them might not work best for you. It might not work best for your audience, and it might not work best for your finances. So you have to do what works best for you and your business. And you have to start with where you are, because you'll be waiting forever if you're trying to make everything like perfect. Just use what you have. If you like it, if you feel within, you're good. Okay, this is it. I'm ready. Go ahead and launch. Don't allow those thoughts or other people like, no, not yet. Or you have to listen to yourself. And it's a learning process as an entrepreneur anyway, because you do kind of you tend to want to lean on what other people say and just like, what should I do? I don't know. But the best lessons I have learned to just do what works best for me.
Sure. And it's good. Trust me, I ask a lot of questions and I like to hear other people's inputs. And that, like just something as small as like the storage box, right? I knew I needed to find boxes. I needed, shipping. How are you going to do all this stuff? Product-based businesses certainly are different than service-based. They all have challenges, but there's different things you have to figure out as a product-based business. Your shipping, your manufacturing, your labeling, your packaging, all that. So I had some people even say to me, oh, just ship it in this for costs, right? Just this is what you'll ship it in, right? And I was like, no. I said, because it's going to have a label, like a mailing label all over it. It might get dirty in there. I was like, no, it can't, and I don't know what, quite honestly, if that's more of a woman thing, that I want it to look nice and stay. Right. I mean, it's cardboard. It's not going to last forever, but it looks pretty and you can put it and you keep it organized in your stuff and it just makes it easier. Some people say, well, you need to have a box. I'm like, what? People are going to put pieces of, sparse and spread around their thing. I'm like, that's going to make it really hard to find them next year or, the next birthday that they're going to. I'm like, no, you got to have it. So that's another thing of just people will tell you things and they should, and it's great to learn, but just, you also kind of know as your gut instinct of what you want to be able to provide your customer.
Right. That's so true. As I was, as you were talking, I was thinking about I guess we kind of backtrack to when you said that you got started with the idea. And so you said this kind of idea kind of came from you wanting to be at home with your kids.
So I would say not the idea of Disguise as Surprise did not come from just wanting to be at home. The idea of Disguise as Surprise came out of my frustration when I would go to give the kids a present and there was no just really quick and easy solution to disguise the item. So that was why this individual and specific product was created. I had always had some ideas from when I was younger and as I got older with kids, I always one of those, oh, that would be kind of cool to have. So I'd keep like either in my phone, in my notes section, I'd put product ideas and, every once in a while I'd add something to it. So finally, we came to just a point as a family where I said, okay, now my kids, I think my youngest was going into 6th grade. And I said, I had been doing a lot for the school, co-president of the PTA, which I love doing all that stuff, ran a math program, but I was like, I kind of want to start maybe getting paid for what I'm doing a little bit here. So I had to kind of say, okay, what can I do? I don't want personally for me to go back to full-time corporate because I want to be here for my children. They have needs. They're not driving yet. I have to do something. So that's when I said, okay, let me see if I can make a go of it with some of my product ideas and see if that can work as a family in doing that. That's when I took a look at my list and said, okay, well, where do I want to start? Because you can't start with a bunch of them. So that's when I said, you know what? I'm starting here.
Yeah. Absolutely love it. Have you seen the movie Joy before?
Oh yeah, I cried.
Oh,
I cried.
I love that movie. I think about is listening to your story and your product and just thinking about the movie, and I absolutely love the movie.
It
It
was a
was amazing.
great movie, and I
Yeah.
think I say I cried because I have empathy. Like I was like, oh, I get it,
Exactly.
whichever. Yeah, and clearly she had some major problems, and her mold, her talking
Mhm.
about mold, that was one
Mhm.
of the major problems that she had,
Yeah.
so yes, there's, like her, I have lots of ideas, but you can't. She started with her mom, right?
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
started with her mom and got that going. And then once that was a business, that's when she jumped into other ideas and had people working for her in teams and different
Yeah.
things. So, one of the things I really, where she got her start was QVC, right? Was it
Mhm.
HSN? Now they're owned by the same, but one of the two
Yeah.
platforms.
Mhm.
Remember how she went on there and she's like, no, I need to be the one on camera to sell this. And that is where she exploded. And
Right.
that is my goal. I'm prepping to get in front of that, because I will say, for anybody of your listeners who is interested in starting in any form of a product, right?
Mhm.
I sold, granted COVID's going on, so it's hard to get. There were not, I would have been at a lot of more like holiday craft shows and things just in my local area to get in front of people and get feedback,
Mhm.
but they were non-existent, like they didn't
Mhm.
happen. However, I did find one outdoor, very spread out, safe thing that I did 2 Saturdays. And I was just so excited to be there. I kind of threw together a tent and, did something. And people would, kind of come by and they're like, oh, what is this? And I was like, here, let me tell you about it. Right. So after I would explain it, they're like, oh, wow, you should be on Shark Tank. You should be sold in the Container Store. Those are big things, though,
Yeah.
where, some people, even in my, family, were like, well, people were going over and buying the candles left and right, or a shirt. I'm like, well, people know what a candle is.
Mhm.
People know what a shirt is. People know what a cheesecake is. There's no explanation needed. It's just you either like it and the way it smells and tastes, or you don't, right? When you have a new product where there's an education behind it, it definitely takes, to me, verbal and video is a great way to do that. What
Mhm.
I'm finding, and I am still learning, I still am trying to figure out how to best market this. But what I have figured out for mine is that as I was saying, video and explanation. So to get in front of like a television audience where you can actually show and pick up, like I even did for you,
Mhm.
um, that is to me way more effective than just even a photograph,
Yeah.
of something, because it doesn't tell a story. At least
Mhm.
my marketing abilities, photograph doesn't tell the story yet about what actually like the purpose of this. You can't get that really across in one photograph of what's
Right.
happening. So people need to keep that in mind though when they're starting out something. If you want something quick and simple and you want to get it out there, I'm telling you, something with a new concept might not be your route,
Mhm.
because I talked to the other day, these two guys, I just went on a meetup, and they do resell on like eBay and on Amazon. And
Mhm.
yeah, they're making good money doing these things, but it's not, what did they call it? Private label. That was a term that
Mhm.
I learned today. I was like, what's private label? When you
Mhm.
make your own and put your own brand on it, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. So, if somebody wants something quick out there, you just want to sell somebody else's items and do quick drop
Mhm.
shipping or something like that. But if you actually have a product idea, you need to know, unless you're coming in with investors and have a huge marketing budget, it's harder for sure than
Mhm.
a candle or something,
Mhm.
because again, people know what those things are. So something to take into consideration when you're starting something, for sure.
Yeah. When you that's so true with getting started. I personally have never, launched a product this, but as you're talking, I could imagine, the challenges of doing those things. I think I love the Container Store. I think that would be a perfect gift to have in there. So I see that on the horizon. For you.
One day, right? But interesting, even for your viewers, like where I'm like, again, I'm still going along this process for sure, is, you know, an item to be sold in the Container Store, Target, etc. I would have to buy barcodes, which I've heard are easy because you have to have all that in place. But like this package right here, right now, when I send it with just, my pretty logo, I stick an instructional sheet in the package. But this just sitting on a shelf is not going to sell my product. If they don't know what it is, they're like, what in the world is that? So then you have to come into the decisions of making a secondary product packaging. So it's not just, oh, let me contact them and go in there. Like, you have to think about, well, how would this sell on their shelf? You'd have to change, do I do a flat box with a shirt box in it, where you have a big space to educate people, or do you just go and put up a trifold? There's lots of different, you have to think about. And I'm trying to figure that out right now. Yeah. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, you're doing a lot of research, because some people just be like, they're so happy with the idea of possibly being somewhere, but you do have to consider those things before you say, yes, I want to do that, but because you want it to be right, because sometimes you can get access to those opportunities and they do it and be like, no, that's not right. And then be like, well, too late. You had the opportunity to tell them, hey, I want it to look like this, and this has to be this way, because I know how my audience best responds, or how they'll look at it and be able to resonate with what I have to offer.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So, if somebody has if any of your listeners have a product in mind, seek out people who deal with product-based businesses though too, because it's a different mindset and it's a different process. Again, marketing, things like that overlap. I don't care. Service and that, everybody's got to do that. But a lot of what they call your systems getting in place are different for a product-based company.
Yeah, that's so true. Do you have like any women in your life that you feel like have helped inspire you to keep pushing during this entrepreneur journey?
I wish.
I got you.
My mom is not around anymore, and I've had a couple people that I've sought out. Each city has various forms of mentorship programs that you can even look into. I have had a few that have got me started, but honestly, I've had to seek out that extra help from people who know anything about product-based businesses. I would say along this journey right now, I found a group called the Product Boss, and there's two ladies who have a lot of experience, one with Amazon and one with fashion launching, and they've put together training programs and different things, and they have a whole community. So I would say they are probably there's no one-on-one, like I haven't sat with them or anything like that, but no, I wish I really had, a person that I could pick up the phone and call and be like, how'd you do this? Or how'd you do that? Yeah. So unfortunately, I do not in my life.
Yeah. Yeah, but then I think it's also good too how we can learn on virtual mentors. Like I said, Pat Flynn, I've never, personally, he's not a female, but I've admired his journey and how he's grown as an entrepreneur. And I do consider him as a virtual mentor. I actually heard Rachel Hollis say this one time. She was able to lean onto those people virtually that she's never met or have access to be able to see how they do it and just kind of use it as a guiding point to keep pushing further. Have you read, Joy has a book out that I actually bought. Have you read the book?
No.
It actually has a great blueprint in it to kind of help you along your entrepreneur journey. I actually took like notes. My book is full of notes. I would take like certain things she'll say. Now, when you get here, you need to do this. And when you get to this point, this is how you keep pushing further. I would recommend. I love that book.
Okay. Yeah, I'll look into it. Well, speaking of that, you actually jotted my memory that I did read a book called Supermaker, which is by Jamie Schmidt. And Jamie Schmidt and her husband, Chris, she started making all natural deodorant out of her kitchen out in Portland, and would go to flea markets and fairs and different things, and ended up 7 years later selling Schmidt's Naturals, which are now sold in Target and everything, to Unilever. I think the time period was 7 years later. So that book was released relatively recently too. So I did buy that book and read it. And she kind of showcases and gives and offers suggestions to her path and along that journey as well. They had actually put together, I think when COVID hit, they were like, well, how can we give back to helping people trying to get started, especially now? So they had put together like a contest for people to try to win money and then mentors and different things like that. So, so I did do that. So I guess, I can't pick up the phone and call Jamie.
Yeah.
But she is somebody whose journey I had, read about and started following, put it that way.
That's interesting to hear because I've actually purchased. There are a lot of things I can't use because I have an autoimmune disease where I can't use certain products and stuff, but I have used their deodorant before. I didn't know that about it, so I might have to check that book out.
Yeah, and the reason I actually even found them first, my 12-year-old came home, was it last year? So he might have been 11 from maybe his health class or something, saying, "Mom, do you wear deodorant with aluminum?" I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea. So he's like, "You need to look." And sure enough, the brand that I had aluminum. So I bought that major brand's aluminum-free version at first, and I was like, not quite cutting the trick, right? For when I exercise or
of course.
Workout. Mm-hmm. So then I started seeing this one and then put the tie-in together, and I was like, you know what? Let me try theirs, and I like it. So, but it was interesting to me that she started out. I think it was stick. I've only ever had stick deodorant.
Yeah.
She started out with, I guess this is the thing where you put your hands in there and you wipe it on, or some kind of an applique. I'm like, oh, well, that would be different. I don't see myself doing that personally, but
that's very old school. I think my grandmother used to have deodorant like that. So that's interesting, and that's how she started it.
Right.
That doesn't work for me though.
Right. Isn't that funny? I know. Nice side tangent into deodorant under the armpits.
And I gotta go wash my hand. Like, no, I'm not doing that.
Right. Exactly.
That's interesting. So interesting to hear that. For those that are listening to the podcast, I did want to mention, I forgot to mention it earlier, this video will also be available on YouTube. So you can use, the links will be listed in the show notes. So you can access the video on YouTube so you can see these beautiful products that Duffy has for the Disguise of Surprise. So you can see those online. But I did wanted to ask you, the pandemic has truly, truly affected so many businesses, especially I talk about it a lot of time, mine being event-based, how we had to halt a lot of our stuff due to the pandemic. And it has affected how we market our products and our services and networking. I was actually reading an article on CNBC that said almost 100,000 businesses and small businesses within the United States have closed permanently due to the pandemic. How has the pandemic affected your business and you being able to pivot with marketing to new customers?
So the interesting thing for me is I didn't have to pivot because I didn't exist before COVID started. So for me, I'm jumping ship right into the middle of COVID. I would say the things, so I'm an online business anyway at the moment, where there are more people buying online. The challenge for me was not having this big marketing budget. How do you get the word out to these people, And I would say what I probably would have done if it was not COVID is at least getting started, just launching in October is right before the holiday season. So a lot of cities might have holiday fairs, craft shows, schools, a lot of the schools would put on their own craft shows. I would have been at my table, just getting word out there in my local community, but I couldn't do that because they just didn't even exist. So that was a challenge for me to where it probably has halted a bit, not allowed me to have more people know about this product, especially in my community because of that. So I didn't really have to pivot, but because it's online and getting in there, it's just finding the best ways to market it and reaching out. So I think for me, whether it was COVID or not, I would still have to do those same things. Try to find if there's influencers, try to find, look, prior to this business, I had my own Facebook personal account, but I did not go on. I was not very socially online active, but I knew coming into this that I had to now grow and do something. So I started Instagram for Disguise as Surprise, Facebook for Disguise as Surprise. I have a YouTube channel. I'm by all means still growing it, but trying to figure out how to best maneuver those. I think especially for somebody who didn't use those platforms before, that's been a challenge. But I think that challenge would have been there whether or not it was COVID or not, because I still would have had to do that and find my way. And I'm still trying to find my way and do all that and learn how to do the right things. Wait, if this video is too long, which platform and do for Instagram? Is it Reels? Is it TV? Is I'm like, there's a lot on there where some people just and go, exactly.
It's a lot. It's a lot because I've done, and I still do from time to time, social media marketing for different businesses. So just being able to see what works best, and it's always changing. Like you have the Reels, you have TikTok, and it seems like these companies are always competing with one another. So they add another component to theirs that you need to learn, and all the big people on the internet are like, well, this is how you do this, and you need to do this, and you do that. And sometimes all of that can be so overwhelming when it comes to learning social media and the best way to advertise your products and your services online. So
definitely. I find that, I'm reaching out. I think I mentioned before, like I'm trying to reach out right now and try to find an intern through one of my local colleges around here to help me with that stuff. And quite honestly, I just literally just put up the post a couple of days ago, but to try to just get with some of those things, and especially if there's somebody who has been doing that for years, and like a lot of younger people do utilize those platforms more regularly. So if I can get somebody who does those to kind of help me and move along the way, then I'm trying to move in that direction as well.
Yeah, that's a great idea. So you would want the intern to help as far as like the marketing aspect of it?
Yes, definitely. The marketing through is where I put, social media savvy, but, marketing for sure. Somebody just getting started, blogs, email marketing. I mean, it is a lot and it takes a lot of time. And so you have to come up with these ideas and then execute them, but still trying to sell product and do different things. So it's, as you start a business as a solopreneur, certainly you wear a lot of hats, which of course you're doing. But for me, if I can find somebody and work along and let them grow too, and I'll be the first person in the world to recommend them and showcase what they've helped me do, by all means, So so I'm trying to find an intern, somebody who is really good with that type of thing.
Yeah.
It's just free my hours up to my strengths. One of the things that a lot of people say when you listen to, and you probably have when you're starting any business, is know your strengths and weaknesses, right? And surround yourself with those people who know a lot more than you do. So that's, but that takes time. It doesn't just go cha-ching, you have right away. You have to find the right people and figure out the best way to do it. So
that's true. For me, I was, as you were talking, I was thinking about when I first got an intern to help. The challenge for me was taking the time to explain everything, because it's like, oh my God, the time I'm taking to explain it, I could have done it myself or figured out how to do it myself. So that was a challenge for me personally, that I was like, there's no way they're going to be able to be successful at their job if you are not willing to take the time to give them the necessary tools to do their job effectively. So that was, I just kind of thought about that. Are you on Clubhouse?
I am not yet. I keep hearing about it a lot recently. So I haven't ventured to do that. Are you doing it?
I've done it a couple of times, but I haven't been consistent with it. And to be honest, each time that I get on there and get on a different room, I'm like literally in a room with, like, one time I was in there with Grant Cardone. I was like, I didn't even know he was in there. Yeah, in a different room I got on. Damon John from Shark Tank, he was in there. And then one time I got in a different room. I was listening to Elon Musk talk. So I'm like, you really do have access to these different people when you go in these different rooms, but I haven't been consistent on it. I haven't actually been on it in the last couple of weeks, but the few times that I have got on there and just randomly went in a different room, I've seen those different people, influencers, talking, and to hear the different guests that were on there having access to these different people to be able to ask questions to them. So
yeah. And what I don't even know about it, is I've heard of it, but I'm not familiar with how the platform works. Like, when you say you went into the room, these people that you just mentioned are all very entrepreneurial spirits. Like, did you have to choose style or a category of a room that you wanted to go into?
Yeah, you do kind of have to find, because when you first get on there, you can let them know what your interests are. So based on your interests, they'll kind of recommend different rooms to you. So of course, mine is entrepreneur related, networking, business related, and so they'll show you the current rooms that are currently being, I guess you could say, broadcast, but I might not be using the right verbiage. And I would just randomly just go to a different room. Listen to, what the different people were talking about. So yeah.
But is it 24 hours a day, or like?
I think so. Yeah, I think you can randomly go on there whenever, and you'll hear different people. Like I've followed some people that I enjoy, like for instance Pat Flynn, Amy Porterfield is another one that I enjoy. And other people within my network, I follow them as well on there. So if they are having a room, you'll be able to see that they have an upcoming clubhouse room, and you can, just hop in and talk to them. Because actually one day, it's so funny, I just decided to hit on there that I wanted to start a room. And then all of my friends just hopped on. I'm like, how did you guys know I was like, we can see it. It gives you a notification that you've started a room. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm learning it. So
okay.
Yeah. It sounds like I've heard nothing but great things about it, but it's just for me just finding the time to just actually sit down and get on there and use it to my advantage.
Yeah, for sure. And it's only audio, yes?
Right, only audio, and then it's automatically deleted right after. So yeah, and I guess it kind of gives you an advantage when you want people to come in, and if you want to maybe talk to them about an upcoming special or whatever you might have within your business. You'd be like, hey, you need to get in this clubhouse because, after now it'll be gone. So I guess it kind of has a perk of utilizing Clubhouse, and I'm sure there are a lot more perks to people that use it on a more frequent basis. Those are just the ones that I know.
Sure. Yeah. I should check it out. It's just one of those things. Let me add that to the list.
Right. Right. Maybe the intern can kind of help give more insight than I have.
Exactly. Right.
So you mentioned influencers. So have you started working with different influencers to kind of help get the word out about your business?
That is absolutely an area that I need to move forward with. There are a couple that I would say probably pre-holiday, a few that I reached out to, and one, Julie with Fab Working Life. She did a feature on me. She did a storyline. So it's a bit challenging, and this is it's just another aspect in another arena that I need to learn the best way to do this, because some of them, for me, a primary target, it's not the only target. The primary target is moms with kids, right? There are definitely secondary and third level targets, but okay, how's the best way? So when you reach out, say, who are the, Google, who are the top mom influencers? Who are the top things? Some of these people are very, very big already. So when you reach out to them, you get a press kit now. And it's like, okay, $2,000 for this. I'm like, oh, right, I can't.
Yeah.
So I definitely need to learn how to do that. I've been watching some things recently. I just watched a little bit of something this past Sunday. And they said what they suggested, which is probably the route I'm going to do, is a little bit of mixed things, is focus more on maybe like 20 of them, not large, but maybe in the 50 to 100K followers, and just start having dialogues with them, and then so they get to know you a little bit kind of first, and really stress the benefits of how your products can help I use the word customers, but their followers, their followers and their community, where other people have said, you just need to DM 100 people a day and this and that and see what happens. I'm like, whoa, well, first of all, who has time to DM 100 people a day? And I feel like that would be so impersonal,
right.
So that's another area but I absolutely think I need to, because I think that would be a good way to spread the word quicker for somebody who does not have a big marketing budget. So, but it's finding the right ones and then forming a relationship. One of the things that literally is, again, on my list to do with my digital guy this week is there's something called affiliate marketing. Are you familiar with that one at all?
Oh, I absolutely love affiliate marketing. Yep. So I know.
You?
Yes.
Yeah. So I need to get my website set up for it. So then basically, if you want to explain it to your listeners and viewers, that basically they have, so some people, if they are going to promote your product, they might say, okay, I can use this. I can see how this works, but let me become an affiliate. And basically what that means, if they push people to you, the way I understand it, and again, I'm still learning, they push people to your website, they maybe get a specific code that I've created and given to that influencer. And when they're checking out, if they use that code, they get a discount. Or the person who is the influencer gets a small percentage of every purchase that was redirected from them, like a lead. So that's the way I understand it. And if you know something,
No, you're absolutely right, because when I was in the process of another business, that was one of the ideas of doing it, was creating the affiliate base. As I mentioned earlier, Pat Flynn has been a huge person that I look up to, and that's actually how he got his business started, with affiliate based marketing. He always talks about that. He actually has an online course that teaches you how to do it, because he often talks about how when he got started, he has a lot of free stuff that you can access via YouTube as well. He talked about when he started, he tells you to start a community first, have a community of people that you can share these products and services with. And he's an affiliate for ConvertKit. When he first, he had the owner come on his podcast, and they talked about the ConvertKit and its capabilities with email marketing. Pat Flynn was able to generate over $1 million just by promoting ConvertKit. So affiliate marketing has a whole lot of perks. And even when you don't have to necessarily be promoting it like actively now. People can maybe read a blog post that you posted 2 years ago, and you have that discount code for Disguise a Prize on there, and someone purchases it, then it kind of becomes passive income at that point, because now I've got some money from Disguise a Prize and I wasn't even actively promoting it. So there's a lot of perks. I absolutely love affiliate marketing.
Yeah. That's another area that I really need to, I've, in the few months that I've been live, if you will, with a product, I hear about all these different things, and there's, it can get overwhelming. I'm not gonna lie. It's like, oh my God, which one do I do first? How do I do this? Is it the chicken or the egg, and this and that? So, and then finding the right people. Sure, anybody can go to a big agency in their city, and if you have a lot of money, sure, they'll do it for you. But when you can't, you either need to research, and if you have enough time to figure out how to do it all yourself, or what I try to do is I've definitely done some things on my own, but I try to find somebody who is maybe used to working with startups or might have more of a freelance rate on a smaller scale.
Yeah.
Or people like me who still know what they're doing, and it would get done a lot faster than me trying to research it and taking a week just to figure something out properly, So.
Yeah, absolutely love that. And I do think, just from my personal opinion, I think you should move forward with the influencer idea, as well as the affiliate marketing. That would be great, because they can actually, Pat Flynn even talks about that, getting that product in your hand and sharing with your listeners or viewers, like, this is how it works, and you need to take advantage of this opportunity now. So they've already built that foundation, that community with their audience. So just being able to get your product in front of their audience that fits your target audience is a great advantage.
Yes, I need to do that. Now, I did, just for what it's worth, and again, we talk about finding your audience. Where is your audience? Who is your audience?
Right.
And, me coming back to that primary target of moms with kids, Instagram is where I would say my following has been increasing the most regularly. But what I still need, I don't know enough about analytics, is I'm not 100% sure those are where customers are as much, though, although I know I still need to do it. But like, for example, I have a good friend of mine who is very creative, and she's like, I was like, you're not on any social platforms, are you? She's like, no, because I'm not any of those. I was like, well, where do you go? Where do you, she goes, Pinterest. I was like, I was like, okay. And that is a platform that I personally know nothing about, really. I just don't utilize it. So for me, all of a sudden, I think I threw something together, literally threw something together. So it was bad, and maybe put up like 3 things. Well, when she said that, I went into my product-based community Facebook group, and I was like, hey, does anybody have anybody on Pinterest that you utilize that got you started, maybe works with, freelancing for hourly rate, something,
Mm-hmm.
right? So they did recommend this one girl. And so I ended up talking to her. And originally I went that route thinking that I would try to hire a VA, a virtual assistant, to help me get started on that. Turns out she's in London, but I really, really like her because she took the time and she's like, so what are you looking for and what are your goals? And I told her, and she goes, VA is not going to work for you. VA works really well if you already have your strategy and you're telling them how to execute it. And I was like, I don't have my strategy for Pinterest because I don't know the platform. So she was able to put together for me a 4-month program where she said, we're going to get you that strategy. You need to give me all the assets, all the videos, all this, the branding, all this. And we're going to come up with, answer all this whole survey so we really understand your brand. And we're going to come up with a platform and get you started. I was like, oh, it just was like such a huge relief for me. And then ironically, after I hung up with her, I got a little motivated. And I think I put, because I realized when I looked at my Pinterest thing, I think I probably did that back in September, October, I don't know. And now here we are in March. I have so many more visuals of products and things. So I just think I, again, kind of hurried up because that's kind of my life at the moment, and threw up maybe 3 more just box pictures. And all of a sudden I opened it the other day because I was looking for, I'm like, oh, one of them had like almost 1,500 views in like a couple of days. I was like, how'd that happen?
Right.
So I put that into her, like, she's just like, she hasn't got where the first month is like a get to know you and let it get strategy, and then they start. So, but I told her that, she's like, that actually is really shows great potential, put it that way. And I was like, so I do kind of have high hopes for that, thinking that that might be an audience that would be good for this.
Yeah, a lot of moms are on Pinterest. So I do think that would be a great strategy for you guys to move forward.
Yeah, we'll see, right? You know, you try, you get in there and you work it and you put it on them and you see what works, and then you start to learn where the best platforms are doing that. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, you should be. That'll be great. I really like that. Since our show, as I stated, is centered around wealth and wellness, helping people be able to, helping women navigate that area, because it doesn't look the same for everyone. And everybody's journey is different. Everybody's life is different. Their household is different. How do you practice wellness as a mom, as a wife, as an entrepreneur?
This is one I think I struggle with a bit. You know, I think my exercising has struggled since I started this whole process because, you know, I'm the one that gets dinner on the table and I'm the one that does the grocery shopping and this. So all of a sudden come 5 o'clock, when maybe some people might be ending their workday, then I can't go spend an hour to exercise. That's when I have to start getting dinner ready, and if there was practice going on. So, but I am trying now, and it's, you know, when the weather's really cold outside, it also is challenging. I would much rather personally do something outside. But I would say for me, some of my favorite exercising things when I do them, and I'm trying to increase them as well. If it's nice outside, I like to go for a run. That's when I'll listen to a podcast. That's when I put my earpods in and I go for a run, and that's my zone, right?
Yeah.
But because I have a treadmill, but just staring at a TV, it's just not the same as being outside. But but I also like to do Zumba. So for me, I have the gym. I'm not going to my gym right now anymore just because of COVID. I don't want to go in there. But so my favorite Zumba instructor sends them like a link once a week so I can do it, you know, in my kind of office area, actually, over there. You know, and sometimes my son will be like, come on over here, and he'll start shaking for a little bit. And, you know. So Zumba and I would say running are probably my biggest things. We do have like I think it's called Total Gym downstairs where I can get some arm stuff in as well, doing that. But I know probably what mentally would be good for me is yoga, but that's just not my cup of tea. Like I think I'm a little bit too high strung, to do that. Right. But you just find your own thing. And I think sleep for me, everybody knows their own bodies. And I will say, when you have so many thoughts in your head, my sleep has been interrupted. So I have to really learn how to force myself to shut it down. You know, like when you wake up in the middle of the night, race, this, don't forget this. I'm like, no, you know, so people have to figure out. For me, I just try to picture just solid color and don't let that color go out of my mind. And it doesn't always work, but sometimes it does. You catch yourself, all of a sudden you've meandered off. I'm like, shoot, right? Come back. So sleep is very important to me. I am not as functional the next day if I only get a couple hours of sleep, where I know some people do it. I just can't.
Yeah. I was actually watching a YouTube video of Kobe Bryant with, I think it's Ariana Huffington, and he was talking, and it was, of course, it was all, he's since passed away, but he was talking about how sleep helped him in his basketball career, because he remembered, like, he was only getting a couple of hours of sleep, and he noticed, he was like, I'm doing practice, I'm doing the shots, I've done what I've always done, and it was like, it was his sleep that was kind of throwing him off, so he knew then that he needed to have more sleep in order to be more effective as a basketball player.
Oh, that's interesting. And that's his good mindset, because a lot of really young people don't realize that, or don't care as much.
Right.
You know?
Right. That was for me, it was interesting, because I struggle. For me, my issue is staying asleep. And then I wake up sometimes, and then, like you said, my mind is wondering, oh, you didn't do this, you forgot to do this wasn't done. And then now I'm up and I'm wired, and I'm trying to calm my mind down. So that's a personal struggle area.
Yeah, no, I get it. I'm right there with you. And some people say, well, if like 30 minutes have gone by and you haven't gone to sleep, you should get up. I'm like, I still try to fight it in hopes that I'll still go back to sleep. I'm like, I don't know. Everybody's got to figure out what works for them.
That's so true. And that's one of the reasons why I created the podcast. Because so many people, it's so easy to gravitate to whatever this person said this works well, and this person says this works well, and it's just like, you have to try what works best for you. Don't gravitate trying to make something work that you don't like yoga, you don't like meditating. Just find that area. Okay, like, I like to decompress with a glass of wine or reading a book. If that works best for you, use that. And because sometimes social media, especially with us being home during COVID and not having access to do as many things that we want, we scrolling all day looking at stuff, and it's just like, it's easy to get distracted and want what everybody else is doing, but you have to work what works best for you.
Yes, definitely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So thank you so much for taking time out of your day to share with us about Disguise as Surprise. Absolutely love the products, and there's so many holidays and occasions that so many women can take advantage of these products and services. The links will be listed in the show notes. Where can we find more about Disguise as Surprise on social media?
Sure. First of all, thank you for having me. I love talking shop and talking to people and just figuring this journey out together as we move along. So the website is www.disguisethesurprise.com. And there's information on there. And then I do have all of my social channels are under @Disguise the Surprise. So I have Instagram, Facebook, and then a YouTube channel where I put some things. So it's all just very simple handle, Disguise the Surprise.
All right. Thank you so much once again, Duffy. And ladies, the links will be listed in the show notes. I'm going to keep saying it a couple of times, and it will be listed in our newsletter as well. Thank you, Duffy.
Thank you very much. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Did you enjoy today's episode? If you are interested in purchasing Disguise as Surprise, the links have been listed in the show notes. I have also linked our YouTube video in the show notes as well. Remember, Disguise as Surprise is not just for holidays. It's a great gifting idea for any occasion. Be sure to like, subscribe, and leave us a comment. Until next time.